Right now at 6, migrants moving in. The impacts to our area continue as Governor Hochul now wants answers about allegations of mistreatment.
Also, $60 million to upgrade Albany International Airport. What is set to improve, and when will the work be done?
And right now, you're taking a live look at a Know Your Rights meeting being held in Troy, where dozens of tenants from Harbor Point Gardens have been displaced since June. And a dire situation. Warren County right now in desperate need of foster families. What's behind the growing crisis? And first on 13, how this film, unearthed 78 years after it was shot, tells the true life story of the local soldier who helped liberate 2,500 Jewish prisoners.
From WNYT Albany, News Channel 13 live at 6 begins right now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Mulholland.
And good evening. I'm Sabrina Dami. Tonight we start with a rare story of history being unearthed.
It is a rare story, and it's first on 13. It's the amazing recent discovery of historic film footage that brings to life a story of desperation and heroism. It's a story that a now retired Hudson Falls history teacher has been telling for 22 years, and now this film brings it all into focus.
The Nazis figured if you had 1/4 Jewish blood, then you were considered Jewish, so, therefore you were to be destroyed, to be gotten rid of.
That's the misguided premise that defined Elizabeth Seaman's childhood. Her grandparents arrested in the middle of the night and sent to the gas chamber. Her parents arrested by the Nazis while traveling.
They were arrested, and then the next day I was sent for.
She was just 6 when she and her parents were imprisoned in a German concentration camp.
People just dying and falling down, and rats on them, and then others pouncing on them to see what they might have in the way of food, because everybody was in starvation mode.
Her father died there. In April 1945, as the war was nearing an end, Elizabeth, her mom, and 2,500 others were loaded like cattle onto a train bound for another camp in Czechoslovakia. The tracks were blown up and the train stopped.
A lot of the survivors say, well, the train commander was given the orders to drive the train over a bridge over the Elbe River and just blow it. Kill everybody.
They also recount that German SS soldiers, a killer squad, ordered the men and boys to get off the train.
So there's a good possibility that these people would have been killed in some way.
Yes.
But as luck would have it, some American soldiers were in the area and happened upon the stopped train. One of those soldiers, Red Walsh, a man born and raised in Johnstown, happened to recount the story of the train nearly 60 years later to Matt Roselle, a Hudson Falls high school history teacher who was recording the interviews with World War II soldiers and assigning his students to do the same.
Did you mention the train at all?
What?
The train, just before?
No, I didn't tell them about the train.
It was that conversation about the dramatic liberation of 2,500 Jewish prisoners from a train near Magdeburg that changed everything for Roselle. He tracked down the only existing images of that day, posted them on the school's website, and as word spread among survivors, for the last 15 years, reunited them, including Elizabeth Seaman, with their American liberators. And now, after all these years, this. A silent film of what took place that day. It was buried deep within the National Archives.
And to see the moving footage after 22 years, right? It's just amazing.
Roselle, who's written several books telling the stories of American GIs, never knew it existed.
These people are in distress. They're swarming this soldier. They're trying to get the food. Yes, this is what happened, okay? So this footage has been an explosive, the coming to light after 22 years, after 78 years buried in the National Archives. It's really, really important stuff.
Really, really important to Elizabeth Seaman, who was just 6 years old the day the Americans liberated them.
What was your reaction when you first saw this video a few days ago?
Oh, just total amazement. And then I went and looked and said, yep, that's my mom. Incredible.
This is her mom reaching out for food from the American soldier, even though she was very ill from starvation and possibly typhus.
Were you grateful to see the video of your mom?
Oh, yes, of course I was. I was so excited about that.
The newly discovered film is silent, but Matt Roselle is bringing it to life. It'll be central to the 4-part miniseries he's working on with an Ohio director. It's called A Train Near Magdeburg.
I can give it context. I can bring it to life. I can explain to people why this is so significant.
What happened was so significant to Elizabeth Seaman that she knew then that she wanted to live in America.
So after that, America was just the great thing, you know, and I wanted to be an American. I wanted to go to America, and I finally came to this country. I was very happy.
For the retired teacher Matt Roselle, the newly found film is another tool to educate. He says after all these years, he still gets attacked by people who claim the Holocaust never happened. He says for those who need proof, look no farther than this film.
So many things just lining up at the right moment for this to finally come to life.
And finally be told, it's been told, but to be told with this sort of punctuation to it.
It's an amazing story,
It
Mark.
is, yeah.
Let's turn to the weather right now. Get a check on your first warning forecast.
Let's head over to meteorologist Reed Kisselbeck. Hey, Reed.